was thinking we could react to the audio of Rachel's last video where she goes over the DMs between her and other people in this private Discord or whatever. And then after that, I want to talk about how Gypsy Rose is on live stream comparing herself to none other than Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, I made a couple videos on it, or like little shorts on it already. It just really fucking hit me in the wrong fucking spot in my brain. Hearing that come out of her fucking mouth was like, the delusion. It's wild out there. Okay. So, I mean, you don't really have to see this bitch because she really doesn't move much. She looks like Lord Farquaad. And yeah, let's go over her fucking idiocracies here in this video. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not perfect. And I'm a new creator. And I know not to make mistakes like that. I'm so glad I'm that smart. But anyway, Rachel, I mean, like I said, I don't feel like I'm perfect at all with by any means, but Rachel, Rachel likes to sit on this high horse as if she's like, you know, and then everything she does is okay for this reason and that reason and this reason. You know what you sound like, bitch? The fucking narcissist that you claim Amber Lynn to be sounds like you need to look in the mirror, Rachel. Anyways, like I said, you don't have to see her because she doesn't move much. She doesn't have much expression. She looks like Lord Farquaad. If you want to see what I'm talking about, here you go. Did you see her? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so let's listen to this dumb shit, because I loved her content, but at the same time, bitch, back up a little bit. You are not God's gift to philosophy on Amber. Okay? You know, you act like everything that you say is, you know, the shit, and everything, every other reaction channel, oh, they're just idiots. Rachel, go get a haircut. Do something about that chin, and then come back and take off that motherfucking diamond necklace that you're wearing, and have some class, because there's people out there that are really struggling right now and are really having a hard time and are losing their food stamps, the way to feed their families, and you're gonna sit up here with a diamond necklace on and no respect for your fucking viewers, the reason that you have that shit in the motherfucking first place, bitch. So, back up, sit down, eat some humble pie, and shut the fuck up.
We're gonna get it all out.
I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to the people that'll be here on the replay. So don't sit here and make fun of me with your question marks, Brian Wright.
When I filmed that, all of this stuff that's happened over the last 24 hours-ish hadn't happened yet. So that's why I didn't address it in that video.
But now, like, watching her content, like, just irritates me. I don't even want to watch it anymore, really.
Not say anything, because it looked like I was trying to move along and not address the stuff, which is not what's happening. So I'm sorry to all of my audience who saw that video and was like, what the fuck, why are you not addressing this?
No, we all knew you were fucking, you have no backbone and you wouldn't do it anyway, so.
Tell you everything I can possibly tell you, get it all out so you know exactly what there is to know, and then you can think about it and talk about it amongst your, amongst yourselves in your communities and such, and everybody will know what happened, because that's the goal, right? So the first thing I'm going to cover is the deleted video. I'm going to just touch on this for 2 seconds.
Okay,
basically,
so I'm going to make it bigger screen and like show you.
Here, which was my first ever girl video. There's pictures of
we're going to stop periodically and talk about it.
Ex-girlfriend, not sure. Emily, her deceased fiance. Colleen, there's pictures of her in that video.
No, I don't. I wish I did, though.
It was by Emily. I missed the emails because I'm a twat, and basically YouTube took that video.
You smell like a twat.
I'm currently arguing with the AI person, or fuck knows who I'm arguing with, in my email about that video and trying to get it back up again. But for everybody who noticed,
goodness gracious, I have too much shit over here. Okay.
Stupid. I just went in my YouTube studio and saw the notification and was like, what the fuck? So that's the notification. I'm pointing in a second. I'm going to put it there. Just so everybody knows, that's where that video went. I did not personally take that video down, and I'm trying to get it back up. So just so everybody everybody knows. Okay, the next
All
thing
right,
we need to talk about is
cool.
the Discord. So we've had loads and loads of messages and people talking about this Discord. So
This
it's
is what we're
absolutely
talking
true.
about.
There was
Rachel
a
reacts
private Discord
in
which
Girl
existed amongst a
World.
few
If you
people, and
follow
all of us
along with
trusted each
that,
other very
is
well, and we were friends, and we were
what
all
this is
talking
about.
Girl World related stuff. There was all kinds of stuff in that Discord, and some very interesting, juicy tea, which still hasn't come out yet, just to be clear. So for everyone who's been wondering, I did not share everything I got at all. And some of that stuff went in that Discord. That Discord was a place where we chatted like mates. I'm sure you've all got mates. You run your mouth with your mates in a way that you wouldn't do on your public YouTube channel.
I run my mouth with my mates, but I don't. Anything that I have to say about you, I will say straight to your face, Rachel, and anybody else. I am not going to sit there on a private Discord, so you thought, and say things that I don't feel comfortable saying to someone's face. I like to be transparent in that way because I'm not going to sit here and fake my feelings in front of the camera and then go behind the scenes and talk a bunch of shit and then not be able to cover my own like you need to go to therapy and get some shit right with yourself, girl.
But of course, it got out, and everything that you guys have seen has been seen. So of course, as you guys all know, because you've all seen,
Hi, I'm in
Discord has no fucking.
How are you?
Didn't want to tell me that they disagreed with my takes, and instead screenshotted a load of the Discord and sent those screenshots out. They then sent all of those screenshots to someone who then shared some of that stuff. That person.
I just watched Charlie Gold's live, and I believe that she did confirm that it was her. I'm not too sure on that though, so don't quote me completely.
Did not blur.
I love Charlie Gold, by the way. I love her.
Which I'm really angry about because
she's live right now. Did I live snipe? Is that what that means?
They don't want their
I'm a
faces
terrible
to be made public, and yet they were. It takes 2 seconds to blur somebody's face in a screenshot, so I think that's really fucking poor, to be honest. If I'm being honest about it.
Everything
anyway,
you've done so far has been poor, so I wouldn't sit here and talk about people doing things that are poor when you can't even be real enough to make a video and say you're sorry to your community and have some respect for them. No, instead you make a lame-ass fucking community post and you walk away with your fucking banknotes, as you call it. I have lost all respect for you. I will never, other than this time right now, give you another view. And I wish that I had control over other people because I would make sure you don't get another one. I am just that fed up. People like you are the reason that I make videos about people, because it's people like you that I talk about. Manipulative, conniving people that have no fucking remorse or care in the world for others, and you are showing your ass right now, big time, bitch. So those philosophy books you read and all of that, I think you should reflect and maybe see where you could fix yourself in some ways.
Screenshots got out. The person who shared the screenshots, it will get out who that person was. And you will all be very surprised, I think. I was very surprised, provided that I'm right about who I think it is, which I think I am, but obviously I won't say anything until I'm sure. But basically, that Discord was a bunch of people who I thought of as friends, mates, fellow creators, who would chat and like spitball and bounce ideas off each other. A lot of sarcasm and stupidity was said in that chat. I am going to cover all that stuff. This is not me like sweeping it under the rug and saying a lot of stuff was said.
Oh yeah, it is.
Of course, we all knew.
You are completely deflecting what you should be doing right now. You are trying to excuse your fucking stupid behavior and point the finger about your behavior instead of taking accountability that you demand out of Amber Lynn. No, you and Amber Lynn are the same in my eyes now.
There was a chance that it might end up being made public. Nobody thought that would actually happen, but it did happen. So here we are. So this is the timeline of what happened, and then we'll talk a little bit about the plan for this video. So this person who was in the Discord sent a bunch of screenshots from.
Hi, Elmo. How are you, honey?
Those screenshots and putting them into their own Discord. So that's how that all got out. Then Geordie went live last night, and I haven't actually watched this live stream, by the way. I'm filming this on the morning of Monday, whatever it is, Monday the. Can't see the date, 3rd of November. I haven't watched Amber's live. I haven't watched Geordie's live. But Geordie went live, shared this clip, okay? So
and she's just like Amber Lynn, and she will go in people's comments on their channel when they talk about her. She will do whatever it takes to see what's being said about her, just like Amber Lynn. They are one and the same. It's crazy. I can't. Like, this kind of behavior makes me fucking sick. I don't believe in acting like this. I don't understand it. And so, yeah.
Geordie shared that clip. Then Amber went live and Amber said a whole bunch of stuff. I've been given like a TLDR of what happened in both of those live streams, but I haven't watched either of them yet. So I really don't know what was said, but I'm not at that bit yet. So for now, we're going to talk about the Discord and all the stuff you guys want me to address, and then the like Geordie Amber stuff.
You guys want me to address? How about you should address it, bitch?
Can come in another video or a bit later, but just so you know, so far anyway, that's kind of the context of what happened. One of the main things I need to address is the money. So a bunch of screenshots were shared, and it's me being very fucking cocky about how much money I've made doing Girl World content. Hey guys, I turned this video around pretty quickly, so you might get some editing Rachel bits here and there, and particularly when it comes to showing receipts, because I'm just going to chuck my own voice in over the top. So one of the main things that people have had a problem with...
I'm not suggesting you watch it as it's pointless, but Geordie has said that you offering to pay in exchange for... Okay.
Is in the Discord, and he says something about how he's watching Geordie, and Geordie is saying he thinks me offering to pay for receipts is a nothing burger, basically. And then you can see I post a meme of Dave, who is my absolute favorite rapper. New album's amazing, by the way. Anyway, and then I say, love that from Geordie. And then Jawbone says, so you're not really being publicly hung, drawn, and quartered. Rest easy, basically. And I say, if Geordie says it's all right, then I'm off the hook. I'll wipe my tears with banknotes. So that is what I said.
I'll wipe my tears with banknotes. Jeez, you are so sensitive to the communities out there in the world that are suffering right now. Just sitting there talking about how much money you made. Yeah, you know, I don't know, like, I'm not making that much right now. Sometimes there's months I don't make anything because you have to hit the $100 mark, and then I don't understand it. I just know I have to hit that mark, and then I make monies. Like I'll be real with you, it's like $110 a month when I do get it in a month. Never mind. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about this stuff. That creators that get a lot of views, like she got on that video, like the 210,000 views, I believe it was, or something like that. It might be higher. I don't know. But the amount of money that you make doing the content and stuff like that as you grow is crazy. You know, and I'm very grateful to make what I make. So I can't imagine how life-changing it was for her and what she made off those videos. But never ever take your audience for granted, and don't be disrespectful about your audience either. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's acting like she's holier than thou, and that she'll just wipe her tears with her banknotes. And to me, it's just absolutely disgusting behavior. It makes me, like, really not like the bitch. Let me see you in a fucking dark alley somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. Listening, praying not to lose service. Oh, I know, right? When you're driving through the Nowhereville, like in the middle of nowhere. If I could speak, Nowhereville. What the fuck is that?
It's not immediately clear, but the vibe that Jawbone and I have, I don't know if you guys have seen any of Jawbone's content, but
Nowhereville.
He says things tongue-in-cheek to take the piss, and that is how I spoke back to him in this Discord. Of course, I felt I was among friends, so when I made that comment, I was not talking about Beck. Beck was not relevant to the conversation. People are trying to make it sound like somebody said to me, oh, are you going to give the money to Beck? And I said, oh no, I'd rather wipe my tears with banknotes or some sort of bullshit. That is not what happened.
It doesn't matter, Rachel. It doesn't matter if you didn't say it like that and you just said it like this. You're still a fucking prick for saying it how you said it.
To Beck was over an hour prior, which I'm going to show you in a second, and this banknote comment had absolutely nothing to do with Beck. I was talking about Geordie, who is also somebody who takes Girl World lightly and makes lots of jokes, particularly about being paid lots of money by his viewers on their birthday and things like that. So the context around me saying this line was completely nothing to do with Beck. I understand the timing of it comes across as extremely insensitive, because about an hour prior I was deciding what to do with the money. But in a second I'll show you that screenshot and it will make a lot more sense as well, because you'll see that I say at the end of that screenshot, I'll think about it, which I did then go on to do, and obviously I changed my mind. I'll explain a bit more about the Beck stuff and the money in a second. I just really wanted to nip this like vicious lie in the bud that when I made this joke about wiping my tears with banknotes, it had absolutely nothing to do with Beck, whose situation...
It doesn't matter. It's still insensitive.
They're going through something really shitty, and it's just fundamentally untrue that this comment from me had anything to do with Beck in any way. Of course, the screenshots were shared with no context, which doesn't help because they were like grabs of wider conversations. I mean, we would talk like all day about a certain thing. So one screenshot of one section of a conversation doesn't really help anyone to kind of understand where people were coming from, and there's lots of little lines in various.
I'll never watch you again or Hecticana, and Studio Deets, you're on thin ice.
Messages that people are obsessing over, but they don't know what was said prior, which got the person to say that. So the context is missing. No Girl World content creator who pulled any number of views is only doing it for the love. People don't sit in their office and edit for like hours and hours and hours a day for just for fun. They do it to make money. And every content creator, if you ask them, if
you want to ask me, I love making content and talking with my community. I don't have family, so like I said, I come on here and I be real and I be myself, and that's it. That's all. You know, especially when I go live. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that it's so insensitive to be like, yeah, we're all here to make money. Yeah. But I also have a passion for doing this, for editing, for making the content, for having the community. The money is just like a bonus. You know, it's nice once in a while to get that $100 and something a month and be like, oh, now I can get gas in my car, you know? So, I mean, yes, I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for my audience. And I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. You know, like I said, I don't have many people, so I get on here and, yep, this is my way of getting out of the house, in the house, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's keep going, because we got to talk about the Gypsy Rose, too. She's a bitch. Fucking asshole, would you just stop? Can you see it? All right.
If they're honest about it, they'll say, yeah, I'm doing this to make money. And one of the reasons anyway is that they're doing it to make money. Now, and it's absolutely true that is one of the reasons I make these videos. The person who revealed all of this stuff themselves also said the same thing. When they revealed these screenshots, said, it's going to be a good November for me. So that person also does it for the money and was super excited to get all of these screenshots because it meant that they would make a lot of profit in November, which is exactly what I did when I got all of those screenshots from Emily. So just to point that out, the difference is that I absolutely ran my mouth in the Discord and was like, oh yeah, I've made loads of money talking about this. Now, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I've made profit. I don't think anyone should be ashamed of that. I'm genuinely not, because you know, anybody who puts hours and hours and hours into something.
No, you should be grateful, you dumb bitch. Be fucking grateful.
I think is perfectly fine and well within their rights to be pleased that they're being paid for their work. What's not fine is me saying a bunch of stuff like, oh, I'm going to wipe my tears with banknotes. The context of that conversation and all of those conversations were I was getting so much shit for offering Emily money to get tea out of her, tea or receipts.
Yeah, you sat there and flirted with a feeder, a death feeder, for content. You're sick.
Out of her, and everybody was really, really mad at me. I was trying to make myself feel better about the situation, and I completely admit and accept it doesn't look good at all, and it's true. So I can't say anything about that. I absolutely said some very unfunny, uncouth jokes about how much profit I had made from this. That's what I said. That's why I said it in the Discord. I discussed with people when this all happened. I think it's the 23rd of October. You can see a screenshot where I am saying giving the money to Beck doesn't feel right. I'm not sure what to do about it. If I give it,
why wouldn't the giving the money to Beck feel right when she's going through what she's going through right now? How could you sit there and say that you don't understand and you don't think it would be right to give Beck the money, and then go on to say, I don't know if she'll even want it? Are you slow, or just, you know, I talk a lot about Gypsy Rose. She's got a rare condition called the 1Q21.1 micro deletion. Do you have some deletions? Because it sounds like you are a little bit, you know, you need some help.
To a charity, I can write it off on my taxes, and it's absolutely true. I did say that stuff. So when I made my community post, all those top comments were people saying, give the money to Beck, give the money to Beck. And I was like, that feels icky, because if I'm taking money that I got by sharing somebody else's DV story and then I give it to Beck, that just felt strange to me. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to
No, you didn't want to do it, bitch. You couldn't find a way out, so you had to do it. Because you're trying to save your ass. We can see right through your bullshit. I have dealt with manipulative pieces of shit my entire life. And you, my friend, are a big manipulator. At first, I thought, oh, this chick's pretty cool. But then I started to see. And I could see right through your bullshit. And I still fucking do. Yet you come on here and you try to act like you're a fucking saint. Still not taking accountability, Amberlynn.
lie about that. At first, this is on the 23rd of October when I was having this conversation, I was like, is Beck even going to want that money? Is that going to make Beck
Is
feel
Beck even going to
uncomfortable?
want that money? Is Beck even going to want that money, bitch? Ooh, if I need to stop. I need to calm myself down. You have a very punchable face to be saying shit like this.
To give money from one ex to a different ex, it all just felt a bit icky. I was very conscious. I was in the mud, and I was like, is this just flinging further mud? Just putting myself more into the situation, and I didn't want to do it. I felt really uncomfortable. Hi, me again. So this is the screenshot you can see on the right hand side here. This is you'll see in a second. When I was actually filming this script, I hadn't grabbed these screenshots yet, which is why I keep having to get myself editing Rachel to come in and talk about this. But you can see on the right hand side there, that's the conversation I was having, and this is the part of the Discord where I was discussing what to do. Should I give it to Beck? Should I give it to a charity? And I explain here that I feel uncomfortable, and you can see there's a message where I say it feels cleaner to give it to charity. That's what I'm referring to there. It just felt like I was getting even more entangled by giving the money to Beck. This is before I'd gone through the thought process and changed my mind. Just to be really clear, the date is very visible on the screenshot. You can see this is prior to me making the video that I made later, where I told everyone, oh no, I've actually made the decision, and in a minute I'll tell you more about how I came to that decision. And if you look at the bottom of this screenshot here, you can see the last message is me saying I'll think about it, which I absolutely did go on to do, because obviously I changed my mind. You can also see the timestamp on this screenshot says 7:30, so this is like an hour before the comment about wiping my tears with blanket.
Oh, by the way, Elmo, yesterday was Chris's birthday.
The topic had completely changed and was not about Beck whatsoever. Just to make it very clear to everyone, although these were on the same Discord.
I don't know why I'm telling you that, like it's some big holiday or something.
I don't know if Beck's even going to want it. Amber owes Beck the inheritance money, and I think Amber needs to pay Beck back.
God,
that was my
I'm sorry I'm bouncing it.
reaction when that first happened. I was
like,
like,
look at that sexy face, you guys.
But then,
isn't she gorgeous?
I reread you guys' comments, and I was like, no, it actually does make sense for me to give this money to Beck. And the reason that it made sense, and this is why I changed my mind, this is the main reason I changed my mind. I saw this comment, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. If I can find it, I'll put it here. I may not be able to. But somebody said, you mentioned Beck as one of your reasons for offering Emily money in the first place.
Yeah,
and that's
ding, ding,
why
ding.
You should give it to Beck, because you literally mention Beck in this post. And I was like, you're totally right, I do. In the post, and when I made this initial offer to Emily about the finance video, I say to her, this will be so fucking good because it will help other exes who've been screwed over financially by Amber, because like Beck, for example, she was owed the inheritance money. So my impetus for offering Emily this money was so that she would make the finance video with me, send me all of the proof of Amber being a tight ass and all the other stuff, which I never actually got. But the point is that my goal was to kind of help the other exes and be like, guys, look, Beck's not the only one she owes money to. That was my goal, right? So when I read this comment, I was like, oh, yeah, that was what I was trying to do. That was the point of it. And it made me realise, oh, yeah, of course I should give the money to Beck. And then Beck also made a further community post where they talk about their surgery and such. And I was like, oh, yeah, ding, 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 light bulb moment.
Oh, yeah,
it
ding,
makes
ding, ding.
perfect sense to give this money to Beck. So I changed my mind. And I decided, oh, yeah, of course I'll give it to Beck. That makes perfect sense. So in that screenshot,
oh, damn it, I dropped my fucking tarot box.
Oh, it feels kind of icky. I'm not sure about doing that. I don't think I want to. And also I mentioned the tax benefit of it all. That was before I had gone through that thought process. So, yeah, there is a screenshot out there of me saying, I don't know if I'm going to give this money to Beck. It feels wrong, because that is how I felt at one point. And so the timing of all of this has been like purposefully twisted.
I forgot about my true crime tarot cards.
What happened was not like this at all. For example, this person's made this comment.
My other oracle cards.
Shares detailed about their devastating medical and financial situation. Rachel blames Beck for making it illegal to pay thousands to an active death feeder who's publicly gifting food to dying addicts, and then implies that it'd be icky and unethical. So the timing of what happened there is completely wrong. So that's
exactly what you did. And why are you putting Pat Ray on blast like Charlie Gold said?
made their community post 5 days ago, and I made those comments in the Discord on the 23rd of October, which was way before Beck had given this update. I also did not blame Beck whatsoever. I said that Beck could benefit from everybody knowing that Amber also abused financially another ex.
So anyway,
absolutely true.
We're gonna move on because that's basically all I had to say about that bitch. Francis Alexander. Oh, did you want to watch the rest of it? I'll put it back on if you're into it. Because not a lot of my audience. You know what? Let's move on. Let's keep watching. I'm a dumb bitch. I'm sorry. God, I got you guys bouncing all over. I'm so sorry.
But obviously when you lay it out like this, it sounds like that would be really awful if that's what happened, but that's absolutely not what happened. Those comments that you can see me make in the Discord where I'm not sure what to do were made before Beck made their post on their community tab, just to be really fucking clear about what actually happened here. So I made that decision, and I had further conversations in that same Discord where I said, guys, I think this is what I'm going to do, but those screenshots weren't shown. So it's just kind of funny to me that only bits that make me look really bad have been shown. There was all these parts of the Discord.
They all make you look really bad, Rachel. What are you talking about? There's nothing in here that makes you look good at all. And you're trying to sit there and deflect and point the fingers. And why don't you just be accountable and tell everybody that you fucked up and apologize?
Know what to do? Is this the right thing? I don't want to be a dick. So there was loads of that which never got shown. Only little bits that make me look really fucking bad were shown. With no fucking context. So anyway, that is what happened there. I discussed it all, and that's what you can see there. It's before I made the decision, and it's me umming and ahhing, and I absolutely did. I totally did. I did not know what to do, but I landed on the right decision in the end. And the comment that I make about the tax break is absolutely true. If I had donated that money directly to a domestic violence charity in the UK, not only could I have gift aided the donation, so 20...
But then Emily said, could you please make the donation somewhere near me instead? And then all of a sudden, you didn't want to do that either.
5% will be added to it by the UK government, but I could also have written that off on my taxes. I could have deducted that amount from my profit on my taxes. I absolutely could have. But that doesn't matter. What matters is doing the right thing with the money. But the point is that I absolutely did have that thought process. But, as I've said, this was before I made the final decision. So I just think it's important, and I do think it matters that I decided the right thing in the end. People are allowed to go through a thought process. They're allowed to spitball their ideas and thoughts off the people around them before they come to a decision. That is healthy. What is not healthy is taking screenshots of that conversation, sharing them, and trying to spin a different point of view when you yourself don't know the context and haven't seen the wider conversation. A final point on the Beck stuff as well is that I've reached out to Beck, both on Instagram and on YouTube, and they have not replied to me. So I'm a little bit nervous of what to do, because I could just PayPal the money over, but then Beck will just receive this random money and be like, what the hell, unexpectedly, and I don't know if that could have certain problems for them. I don't know if they get any benefits or anything, and if receiving a chunk of money might be...
Shut up. Just seriously.
An issue. I guess on PayPal it will be fine. But yeah, Beck has not replied to me, so I am not sure what to do about that. I'm going to give them the money, don't worry. But the question is how? And Beck hasn't even said if they for sure want the money. So if anybody has
Charlie Gold has confirmed, though, that she has sent the money back, and Beck did post a receipt. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
a way to contact Beck, that would be awesome if you could get me in there. The money is going to Beck, which is the right decision. I stand by that decision. I also stand by the fact that I went through a thought process to come to that decision, and when that money is given to Beck, I will absolutely tell everyone. There is a lot of stuff that still needs to be covered, and we've done the Discord, and now we're going to get into some of the other things. So number one is the flirting. Screenshots have been shared that show me saying that I flirted with Emily to get the tea, and I did say that. The screenshots are real, as I've already said, and I think this is kind of funny, and I'm going to just touch on this now. So I wanted the tea. I run a Girl World YouTube channel, so getting receipts and proof about one of the girls is super, super valuable to me. It's valuable.
But none of us have to do that. None of us. I will never do that. I would never in a million fucking years, you wouldn't catch me dead flirting with Emily or any of her exes at all for any kind of tea. I don't care what it is. Because the tea will come out by itself. On its own. So, you can't sit there and say that. And she's also going to come on to say right after this that it's just like being a bartender or a burlesque dancer. No, it is not. Because I was a bartender and never once did I have to... I mean, you have to, be friendly, but I never had to outright flirt. flirting and being friendly, I think, are two different things in the job world. But this is different. This is talking about somebody. You're not making tips. You're not running around in a restaurant. You're sitting on your fucking ass. You don't need to do that. You know, girl world, even though you've only been in it since, you know, Amber Lynn got with Emily. You think you're just top dog, top shit. I really think you need to eat humble pie and shut up.
Monetarily, obviously, because I make profit off the videos. All of that stuff is super valuable. My goal is to analyze the girls the best way I possibly can. So in order to do that, I want to see the proof, and I'm not going to lie about that. I absolutely do. And it is completely true that during my texting with Emily, I was much kinder to her than I might have otherwise been. I was much nicer. I was much more jokey. I sent some winky faces. Actually, I don't even know if I sent winky faces, but I definitely was somewhat more amenable to her than I could have been because I wanted her to feel comfortable with me and give me all of the proof, right? I don't think anybody is going to send somebody else like 150 screenshots, videos, various other stuff without you making them feel comfortable. So I describe that as flirting in the Discord, and I probably stand by that. I definitely did flirt with her a little bit. I don't give a fuck about that. I think flirting so that you can make more money is totally normal. People do it when they're bartenders, burlesque dancers, so many different professions. You'll be a bit nicer than you want to be to somebody because you're trying to get ahead in your career. This is one thing that I'm not gonna kind of recant on because I think that flirting with somebody is literally no big deal. I think that people having a...
Then why are you over explaining yourself? Obviously it bothers you to have done that. Why are you over like I don't understand. I'm just like I don't understand. The logic that you are having right now in this discussion that you're sitting here talking about, your logic is very messed up. You don't seem to grasp real reality very well.
Huge problem with me flirting with somebody a tiny bit to get more information is like kind of weird. Like, why do you care who I flirted with? Now I understand the argument is that she's a death feeder and that's why I shouldn't have flirted with her. If you saw this alleged flirting, you'd be like, oh, because it was literally nothing. I just personally think that it's no big deal. If you feel that it's a huge deal, that's cool. That's your opinion, and you're genuinely within your rights to have that, and I support you having a different opinion from me, right? Because that's what life is all about. I'm not trying to be in an echo chamber, but I just want to say my view on my own actions in that situation is that me flirting with somebody to get more tea is really no big deal, and it happens in a multitude of jobs, and if you think it doesn't, you're objectively wrong. People have said all kinds of wild and hilarious things about me and Emily falling in love. I think a lot of that was said in Amber's live, which I'm going to react to probably in my next video, but it's absolutely not true. I have a hard line that I'm not talking about my girlfriend. That is nobody's business. I do not choose.
Well, but you're allowed to sit on here and talk about other people's girlfriends and flirt with their girlfriends and talk about your business to them as if you were trying to be in a relationship with them. And we all know that your type is Emily because you stated one time that you thought that Studio Deeds was attractive. So I really think that Emily was your type. You were flirting because you did find her attractive. And there was maybe something like there that Emily was doing to make you think that your flirting was accepted. And you kept it going to keep getting the tea and keep going. And then when you found out that she was back to talking to Amber Lynn, you got a little bit jealous. And that's when Amber Lynn posted the community post and you got all up in arms making a video about it. We see right through you, bitch face cunt. You understand?
To monetize information about my girlfriend or make my girlfriend public. So it is a hard line for me that I will not be discussing my girlfriend, my relationship, but what I will say is that this speculation that Emily and I fell in love or anything like that is absolutely laughable. And that is not what I mean. But when I react to Amber's live, I think I'll talk more about that then, because I think she's the one who tried to kind of peddle that narrative, so we'll talk about that later. Hello, I had the section where I talk about Beck a bit later in the video, but I've ended up grabbing that section and moving it backwards, so now I talk about my screenshots between myself and Emily, but just to make it clear, there's a little like awkward cut here because I moved the Beck section to be in line with the rest of the money section because the structure of the video made no sense. So now I'm about to start talking about my decision to not give the money to Emily and the discussion I had with Emily. In this Discord, I shared screenshots of the conversation between myself and Emily where I tell her that I'm not going to be giving her the money. Someone has threatened to share these screenshots and they're getting all high and mighty and excited that they've got these screenshots, so I'm going to show them to you instead, and then that person can talk about them if they want to, just like every other reactor is maybe going to. I personally think it's quite fucking boring. I'm going to show you them and you can do with them what you...
Do you notice how she's trying to make us feel a certain way before she goes on to show these? Oh, they're boring. You're not even going to care. Just don't even watch. You are so manipulative. You are so... You need to call your mother. Tell her you love her. Because you need to touch some grass and it might kill you.
So here they are. I've just realised whilst editing that there are two screenshots which I somehow didn't cover in the video, and so I'm just going to pop them here for you now. So this is the part of the conversation where I tell Emily that I'm not going to be giving her the money, basically. So this is the start of the conversation. Emily got annoyed at me and was like, why did you unfollow me? Which I didn't. It was kind of strange. By this point in time, she had changed her profile picture and stuff and deleted everything on her Instagram. So you can see in the right hand side screenshot, I thought that I had been blocked, so I didn't bother replying. But you can see here my reasoning for not giving her the money. So I say, I didn't unfollow you, I've been following you for over a year. I understand why you feel frustrated, but my worry is that I cannot trust that you won't go back and talk to Amber because you've done that before and I will look like a total mug for having defended you. And that's what I say. I say, I've showed your side of the story to basically everyone in Go World, which has worked to your benefit. You threatened to go to reaction channels when you spoke with Amber and now you've done it. That was another dig from me because I saw in the screenshots, I kind of realised in the screenshots she literally threatens Amber by saying, oh, I'm going to go to reaction channels. And I was like, oh, lol, that's exactly what she did. And then I say, and it's benefited you by getting your proof out.
And that was said way before any of this happened. So...
there, which is what you wanted. I've put my reputation on the line.
I gotta go to the
Because I
bathroom.
wanted to support DV victim. This has always been about getting the truth out via proof.
Punch my stuffed animals on my pillows or something. She makes me so fucking angry. And you guys probably hate me because I'm bouncing my phone all over.
Who was telling you I'm talking to her, but clearly they're trying to stir the pot. That wasn't the case. There was absolutely proof that
there.
And then,
I'll be right back.
Ow.
Ow.
I had already done this at this point. She deleted videos about Emily and posted that community post. So it was very obvious the two of them were talking then. And I was like, girl, I've literally made all these videos sharing your side of the story, and I've believed you when you told me that you're this awful victim of this terrible abuse, and now here you are back in bed with Amber. It was just really disingenuous, and I was like, what the heck? Emily says, I'm putting this entire chapter of my life behind me. I've been hurt by her, which is hilarious because they're literally still talking now, which is just mad. And then Emily says, thank you for telling my side of the story. I truly do appreciate it. So that's proof there that she was grateful that I let her put her voice note in my video. She was pleased with the video. She was glad that her side of the story, her version of events, got out via the voice note. And then she asks me, are you still going to go through with your word to split the AdSense with me? I'm going to assume you're ghosting me now. And I say, hey, sorry, I thought I was blocked. She then sent me this voice note where she claims that she's not the one who privacy struck Alex's shook, which I have no idea if that's true, but then you can see that this is my reply to that. And then I'll let main video Rachel pick back up. There's this screenshot. This is the first one. I think there's 9 of them, so we'll get through them. They are honestly boring, but we'll talk about it. So here's the conversation. We'll start here. So Emily told me that she is not the one who's making the privacy complaints. That's what she said, and then this is my response, and this is where we are. So I say, no worries. I think you should make a public statement on your own platform to inform people that it wasn't you who made the privacy complaints. I think our communications have skewed my judgment and impartiality towards the situation, and I think it's best we stop speaking. And that's absolutely true. She was telling me all kinds of stuff about herself, about Amber, and it was getting very difficult to tell what was true and what wasn't true. And having her in my ear whilst I was trying to make content for you guys was just weird, and it felt uncomfortable. And when I say that it skewed my judgment and impartiality, what I meant was the fact that I wanted more tea from her meant that I couldn't be as critical about her as I wanted to, as I've already told you guys. So that's what I mean when I say that. And I say it's best we stop speaking. By the way, just to be clear, this is the last conversation Emily and I ever had. You're going to get up to and including the end of the conversation. So I say, while I understand this decision will be disappointing to you, I can't in good faith pay you for the video where I shared your story, because I heavily suspect that you had other motives for speaking to me besides getting your story out as a DV victim. I feel I've been a pawn in a bigger game between you and Amber, and that my good intentions have been somewhat used. That's the reasoning that I gave her. I thought I was sharing her story, but actually that's not really what was going on. She was using me and my channel and my angle to try and attack Amber. She didn't actually want to get her story out, clearly, because she was still in fucking cahoots with Amber, which just pissed me off, because I was like, don't talk to me about how you're such a victim and you feel so awful, and then run back and have a chin wag with the person who did it to you. The whole thing just felt strange. So I say, in light of the recent developments, I know it would be a disappointment to my audience, and I can't be sure confirmation of any payment wouldn't end up getting back to Amber and then be used against me. I'm pleased we were able to show the proof to the audience, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to make a payment to you. Instead, I will make a donation to a charity. I have to safeguard my integrity with my audience. This is something I'm not willing to risk. Thank you for understanding, and I wish you all the best. Now, that obviously, it makes me look like a total idiot, because I'm saying here that I want to safeguard my integrity with my audience, and that's absolutely true. I knew that if you guys knew that I had paid Emily for this, that you would be so angry with me. There was no way I was going to pay her. And then Emily says, then I want the video taken down because it's done nothing but cause me problems. I'm not going to make a statement. I'm not posting anything to social media. I'm being harassed. People are calling my family. Everyone is talking about me, about reporting me now because Hector Kana posted about it, and now you're not staying true to your word. How would you like if someone did that to you? I feel like I've been used and exploited. I'm not talking to Amber. This is just your excuse to go back on your word. Unbelievable. So that she says she's being harassed and she wants the video taken down. When I posted the video, Emily was pleased with it. She was completely fine with the video when she thought she was being paid, and then when she realised she wasn't going to get paid, suddenly she blamed the video for her being harassed, which is completely unfair. She says, you say you're sharing a victim story, then turn around and not believe me after you make money off me, all while you're worried about your reputation. Come on, Rachel. She had no problem with anybody making any money, all the while she thought she was getting some of it. As soon as I said, sorry, it's not going to you, she clearly feels that she's been screwed over. And you guys know what happened. And I say, as stated prior, I feel a similar way. My intention was to share your story, which has been achieved. You receiving a payment from me will have no tangible effect to your complaints above, which I sympathise with, talking about her being harassed or whatever. The purpose of this was for you to clear up information and share your story, not to make a profit. I do not in any way support you being harassed, doxxed, or having your family contacted. I have not contributed towards or encouraged this behaviour. A donation of half the total AdSense of this video, less 19% for taxes, will be made to a domestic violence charity. I will not benefit financially from this decision. So, as I say, I was going to give it to charity. That's what I wanted to do, okay? Emily did not want that money to go to charity. No matter what Amber tells you, that is not the case. And you can see it here. Emily says, Rachel, I need to be very clear. I did not consent for my personal experience to be used for profit or public content without fair compensation. You agreed there will be a payment in connection with the video, and I participated in good faith under that understanding. Redirecting that payment elsewhere without my consent does not remove your obligation to compensate me. This video has... So I'll pause there for a second. So she doesn't want the money to go to charity. She wants the money, okay? Which, you know, cool. She's trying to make it sound here like she didn't give consent for the clip, the voice note, sorry, not the clip, the voice note, and her side of the story to be used for content without compensation. That's not true. She gave me full consent to share the voice note prior to the misunderstanding which then followed, where we changed our agreement, and I said, oh, it's fine, don't worry, we'll just split this upcoming video. But that upcoming video was already in motion, and I already had consent, as I said in my community post. So she's trying to make it sound here like she only let me use the voice note because I agreed to pay her. That is not what happened. She was already letting me use the voice note. And
it doesn't matter.
The agreement was moved to split the money.
You made the agreement to pay Emily that money. It doesn't fucking matter. Thank you. It doesn't fucking matter, Rachel. Farquad. Bitch. God damn. If you want people to trust you within the community or anything like that, you have to be real. You have to be transparent. You have to be understanding when there's backlash and learn from it. You know, I just don't get it. You act as if you are owed the views and everything that you get on these videos that you make. You aren't owed anything. You aren't owed shit. So if you offered to give this money to Emily, no matter if I like her or not, which I don't, nobody really does. Nobody would have said this. Nobody would have offered this, but you did. And you take it back now makes you look even more like a scumbag. I am gobsmacked at Joyous. Do you understand?
From a finance video, and we said, oh, it's okay, we'll just split this upcoming video instead, which was already existing, and I already had consent for that video. She then says this video has directly led to harassment and harm, including people contacting my family. That's not true. She was being contacted already. She thanked me for the video when I made it. As soon as she realised she's not getting paid, she's mad about it. She says it has not been beneficial to telling my story, which is not true because I literally played a voice note of her voice. So if that's not sharing her story, I literally don't know what is. She says you just acknowledged that
all my
used my story,
pens? Where did
generated
they
AdSense
go?
income, and I've asked for it to be taken down, continuing to
Makes
keep
me
it public
so
while refusing
upset, you
payments,
know?
both unethical
I love
and the
these
misuse of
damn
my
pins.
story.
They're my
I'll reply
favorite
shortly, and this is about to go
motherfuckers.
into blank and can't reply for a few hours. I'm not ignoring you.
And
I
I
also
don't
reply.
have any.
If
They're
these
all
screenshots get
gone,
shared
son
by
of a
another party,
bitch.
and that word is not blanked out, I am going to be absolutely fucking
What the
livid.
hell is this
That
word?
covered up word there is a very private, very personal thing
What is
that
this
I do in
word?
my spare time, and if that gets out because some person doesn't know how to edit a screenshot, I am going to be, or how to respect somebody else's genuinely private matters that have got nothing to do with the internet, I will be absolutely livid. And so I just hope that whoever shares these screenshots, if they've got, because I know they're out there, if you don't cover up that word, you're just a fucking loser. Emily says, I'll be waiting for your response. And then I come out and I say this.
What the hell
Hi,
is
Emily,
this
I've
word?
genuinely been considering your request, which is true. However,
Charlie Gold said she knows the word, but she won't say anything.
Which it did. As soon
Which
as I
I
posted that video,
understand.
she got so much shit, and so did I.
I do
was like,
understand.
why are you making her take this video down? You already
You
gave
know,
consent. That's what I'm
but
trying to
Charlie
avoid. When I
Gold,
said,
she's got
let's just leave it
integrity,
now, let's not
unlike
track
you,
the
you
video.
stupid
She wanted
ass
it private.
bitch.
I say, I think it would be best for this money to go to the victims who will benefit from it. If you still have concerns about the video being
Who's a
public, I'm
stupid
sure
ass
YouTube has a process you can follow.
motherfucker? Rachel's
Rest
a
assured,
stupid
the
ass
aforementioned donation will
motherfucker.
still be made. So that's me basically saying to her,
She's
if you want the video
stupid.
down, you can privacy strike it. She then says, Rachel, I need to be very clear about how wrong this is. I shared my personal story and details with you under the agreement that I would not listen to. So that is not true. I was sent her story, the screenshots, the voice note, ages and ages before any mention of money was ever made. So that is not true. Then she says, that was part of the understanding from the start. Again, not true. You assured me multiple times that I would be. I also made it clear that without that agreement, it would not be worth it for me to share something so personal and painful. That's just completely not true. You went forward, used my story publicly, then decided after the video was posted to take that agreement back. That is not acceptable. You shared private information about me under a false sense of trust and benefit. This is not about speculation or donations.
Please like the live if you're in here for me. I would love it. I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming and watching.
Her trying to say that this whole thing.
Rachel, your videos sometimes they drag on and on. You're babbling over here, and that, you know what that says to me? Manipulators lie and they babble and they babble. And that's all that this video is fucking saying by now. With the diamond necklace on that you're wearing, you fucking tone deaf ass bitch.
Was me profiting from her vulnerability.
You know, I just don't understand.
Because she's the one who wanted all of this stuff out there. That's why people speak to reaction channels, right? They want to get things out. So saying I profited from her vulnerability, I don't feel that that is an accurate characterization of what happened there. And then we get into the fabulous thinly veiled threats. It's clear you're worried about how this might affect your image and reputation if people found out you paid me, but what would actually look worse than agreeing to pay me and then backing out after the video was already posted, all while profiting off it yourself. It doesn't really matter which one looks worse. Paying her was worse, so I didn't do it. And then she says, I'm not looking to make this public. I've kept everything private and respectful with you, but I trusted you to handle this with honesty and integrity, and you have not. You promised compensation for my time and vulnerability. You used my story publicly. You can still make this right, quietly and respectfully. So that, I feel, is her basically trying to say, I'm not trying to make this public, let's keep it quiet. And I felt anyway when I read that message, that was her almost threatening to go public with this. And her saying here, you promised compensation for my time and vulnerability. That's not true. I promised compensation for receipts relating to Amber owing Emily money. And then after the fact, I changed my mind and agreed that instead of splitting money on that video, we could just split the money on the upcoming video, which, as I've said, was already...
Because you realized you weren't going to make as much money on that one, so you could split that one with them, because this one already was making good money. That's why you did that.
In motion, already planned, already scripted. So it's absolutely not true that I promised compensation for time and vulnerability. That's not what happened. I don't feel that's what happened. I then say, thank you so much for your response.
Okay, I've got some stuff to talk about.
When I say that, nevertheless, I appreciate you giving me an understanding of your viewpoint on the above message. I then say, please grant me a period of time to think about the situation and decide which action is most suitable. As I've stated, my fear is that your motivations for getting me to make that video were to express a power play over Amber Lynn, with whom I believe you're still in regular contact, which they absolutely were. Still in contact, and I say, I'm not comfortable being a pawn in the mind games between the pair of you, nor am I comfortable financially compensating you for the same. I would be far more comfortable donating this money to a good cause. I see that this option is not acceptable to you, which was me trying to dig her out and be like, girl, just let the money go to charity, but she was not not okay with that. I then explain monies accrued in October 2025 are paid by YouTube in November, so there is no rush for a decision. Thank you for your patience. I'll be back in contact in due course. So that's me basically saying, just fucking let us give the money to charity, but in the meantime, there's no rush anyway, so let's just leave it at that. So I wanted to give the money to charity.
We're going to move on talking about something here about Gypsy Rose talking to the cookie lady and everything. Did you guys know that Gypsy Rose befriended the cookie lady? You know who the cookie lady is, right? The cookie lady that was dating her dad. And she fully accepted the fact that they was together. Isn't that sick? And then she's being all nice to Krusty. But I think Krusty stayed in the marriage just for that big, because they were always after doing them interviews, you know what I'm saying? But yes, she made friends with the cookie lady. There's emails between them that I'm putting in my next video, okay? I want you guys to really, you know, I want to do like a timeline of Gypsy Rose timeline of like, you know, year to year, like what was going on. So people can kind of get a picture in their minds. Because I picture it all the time, but I wonder, am I the only one that pictures Gypsy Rose's life in the order that it should go? Do you know what I'm saying? Because there's so much confusing shit out there. It's hard to know where everything goes, what was where, how, when. You know what I'm saying? Because for the longest time, shit, I thought she was a fucking teenager. And here she was almost 24. 24. And then asking her mom to wash her Barney before the day before the unaliving. Barney would not have been dry. Like, no way. Like, we was talking about that in Fancy's live stream earlier today. I think it was Fancy's, or else it was Max, but whichever. Barney was the stuffed doll. I don't know what the Karma Collector's putting out there. It was not animatronic. It wasn't the talking Barney. It was just a regular Barney. And she says, oh, I told my mom to put Barney in the washing machine. Why? And then what? I don't understand. That's a lie, Gypsy Rose. That's a lie. And then she's on her live stream. What was it, yesterday? Comparing herself to Jesus Christ. That just, I made a couple shorts about it because that blew my mind. I never thought in a million years I'd hear Gypsy fucking Rose saying that she walks in the shoes of Jesus Christ, or tries to every single day. Bitch, you committed the number one fucking... The number one commandment and the 10 Commandments is, I think it's number one, but it should be. Or, I don't know. Thou shalt not kill is on there. Especially your mother. And you're supposed to honor thy mother and thy father. And no, you unalived your mother. And you think about your father sexually. I think that's just my opinion. I think she does. She's a sicko. She probably wanted to have a threesome with Ken and Krusty. I'm not even going to lie to you. I believe it to be true. Oh, come on. Shit. I hate that. Come on, dude. I dropped something and I can't seem to get it. Come on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I I don't even know if anybody's here anymore. I'm just talking. So I wanted to look. I did save those TikToks, so I wanted to see if you guys wanted to look at them. No? Oh, wait. I also have... Oh, my back, dude. No. Oops. No. Yeah. Oh, wait. So, I looked up the timeline, okay? Excuse me. My goodness, what an asshole I am. Oh, wait. This is number 1. Childhood early medical history. Now, okay, now I did this because I wanted you guys to see. Public narrative, Dee Dee fabricates Gypsy's illnesses from childhood to gain sympathy and attention. Corrected timeline, Gypsy has legitimate symptoms as she was diagnosed with the 1q21.1 microdeletion in early 2011. Early medical treatments were based on the symptoms that came from this microdeletion, but at the time they did not know, right? Then Gypsy, another narrative that the public has is Gypsy is perfectly healthy, but portrayed as sick by her mother. And then, oh, come on, why can't I get it to move over? Sorry, I'm not trying to yell at you guys. Oh, I'm not going to move over. Son of a bitch. Well, anyways, it goes on to explain on this side. I'll put it in my video, I guess, going over the public narrative as opposed to the corrected timeline that's going on now. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys that, but it cuts it off. Son of a bitch. Also, the medical records that Fancy has, she was talking about in a video. Look at, okay, we've got, let me see here. Gypsy is a paraplegic from birth and in a wheelchair. She has mild retardation, currently at a 2nd grade level. She sees only shadows in her right eye, but vision in the left eye is good with correctional lenses. She also has hearing deficits. However, speech is clear and accurable. She has central, I don't know that word, and is on a CPAP machine, almost meaning that she's got like the sleep apnea. She has epilepsy with grand mal seizures occurring approximately 1 time per month. Last seizure was 3.5 weeks ago. Now, don't you think that if Dee Dee was trying to say, you know, do harm to her child and make her sicker, that she would have said like, oh, she had a seizure this morning, you know, or just whatever. It would have been more embellished. You know what I'm saying? Where was I? She requires multiple inhaled steroids. She was treated for all 5 years of age for 1 year and has been in remission since. Oh, for her leukemia. She has muscular dystrophy, so they thought, because she hadn't yet found out about the microdeletion. Mother unsure of type. She has had multiple surgeries, including eye muscle, Nissen funduplication, and G-tube, tonsillectomy, myringotomy, tubes. I'm sorry. Excision of submular glands for high. Anyways, and a muscle biopsy. She has had a heart murmur heard recently and came today for evaluation. There's no history of palpitations or syncope, occasional mild chest discomfort. Her limbs periodically become cold and blue, and her left leg occasionally swells. Gypsy has 4 weeks or was born 4 weeks prematurely, but mom is unsure of perinatal nurse due to memory loss from a car accident. She does recall that Gypsy had FUO something after birth, but is not sure if paraplegia was present at birth or after. I don't know what that means, but you know what I'm saying. Those are her medical records directly from Fancy, who has them all. Okay. That shows us a lot that Gypsy, you were sick. Shows a lot. You were sick, and it wasn't fabricated stuff that you were going through. You had a chromosomal disorder that they knew you had, but they didn't know what type. And it took a lot of testing and time to get things figured out because there's so many symptoms that go with it that you had. So that means you probably have the mental symptoms as well. And that would be like the schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff. And the reason that you are like an attention seeker and stuff like that. You are very, narcissistic, antisocial, like that's all a part of it. I mean, this is all my speculation, my opinion. I am not a doctor. I'm just saying I was reading up on it, okay? This is doing research. That's what I was doing. But yeah. And then she claims in one interview that she murdered her mother because she wasn't the mother that she wanted. Well, bitch, you can't pick, okay? There's no way to pick your mother. You just get your mother. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would love to have had the ability to pick their own mother, okay? I love my mother. I wouldn't trade her for the world, so just saying. Then there's this one. They came right after it. It says, wheelchair bound, very pleasant and cooperative. Vocabulary seems more advanced than second grade. Fluent and engaging, extremely docile. So she's extremely docile. She's not acting like she's got anxiety from abuse or anything like that. Doesn't mention anything like that to these doctors either. No sensation, lower extremities, no voluntary movement, legs. However, patellar reflex was present. And what that means is that little thing that they do on your knee, and your knee bounces. If she couldn't feel her legs, she wouldn't be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they were bringing that up. That it could be some kind of malingering. And that's very true. She's scheduled for dental rehabilitation, seen in Pat today, as well as cardiology. Mother advised that she will be contacted the day prior to surgery for further instructions and to call with questions. Mother extremely attentive and caring, encouraged to contact clinics soon to reassess medical conditions and prescribed meds or something, such as those used for asthma control, and for information provided to mother regarding available clinics to coordinate care of Gypsy in one place, including asthma, neurology, pediatric, ENT, and ophthalmological services. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that was them telling her that she had to go and make all these different appointments with all these different people for Gypsy, which she probably already knew, you know. And how come, what's up with fucking Brie up there talking like she's this Munchausen by proxy fucking expert? Did you see that? I was, the audacity. I was sitting there like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Nothing, and you can't diagnose somebody after death. You just can't. You can't. They thought that Gypsy might have been malingering at that point where she had the patella reflex happen. They did say that, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that her mother was, you know, being having the Munchausen by proxy shit going on. I think it's Gypsy that's dealing with those symptoms, to be honest with you right now. You know? But, I don't know. I guess I'm going to go now and do my content. I got a few videos to be putting out here, and I love you guys, and I hope to see you next time, bitch. I love you. Go kiss your mother.